A very good evening to all of you. Malai Vanakkam. In fact, it is nice to be at a forum where it's full of positivity. From the time I came, I've been seeing a lot of positivity, especially during the COVID period. There's a tenure that's been completed beautifully by the past team, and there's a new team taking over, and I could see the plans that they have laid out, and that's also fantastic. And so it's a nice thing to be with so much of positivity. That's a great start for an evening. And first of all, let me thank Captain Venkataraman for speaking to me and saying that this is a forum in which you wanted me to join. And then of course Mr. Saktivel and Mr. Vignesh Ramanan reached out to me. The topic was something like leadership after the pandemic. But first of all, I think the topic now has completely changed because of the continuous news we hear. Even about a year back, I was talking about leadership should be along with the pandemic. I don't think we can say it will go away. And then if we wait for that to go away, we'll never be moving forward. So I just don't feel that's going to be something which we should talk about. So we've learned already. I think that's why we are so positive today. And the second thing is, I should say, while you would have seen when my profile was read out, I have probably done many other things except manufacturing. It's all about probably marketing, operations, human resources, education, whatnot, but not manufacturing. But most important is that how we solve a situation, the challenges on hand, how we move forward, or how we keep problems aside and move forward is what is most important. And all of you are leaders. I can see everybody, I mean, at least the entire hall is full of leaders, and I don't think leadership is something we should talk about. I think all of you are achievers. But my thought process is that in the last couple of years, what we have understood is that there are times when I have found people succumb to the problem and become low in their mind and lose out, or there are people who have reacted to it in a very positive fashion, where they felt that it's a great opportunity, or at least put in their effort, and now they are all in the right groove moving forward. I can tell you, there was this, I mean, I have many friends in the medical field. I remember when COVID hit us, of course, all of us, the first 2 weeks, we were all enjoying a holiday. The next 2 weeks, we realized we better get back to work. We didn't know how to get back to work. And the next few months was a little scary. And then so long, then we got used to it, and then we started getting up and walking and then running. I had this thing of where I had one doctor who was running a small clinic. He had a very serious problem, because when you don't address the COVID issues, even the big hospitals had that problem, they could only address COVID issues, and all the chronic problems or the pre-planned issues were postponed as much as possible, because nobody wanted to get into the hospital, and majority of the times we didn't reach out to the doctors also. Suddenly everybody seemed to be healthy, suddenly everybody seemed to be handling it at home, probably we were eating better food, whatever, I don't know what, but then doctors actually were losing business. And I know of some people who did not know how to go about it. They almost shut down the clinics, tried to get associated with some hospital or something, and that was one part. I then found there were other people who started looking at not an opportunity, but they tried to be relevant. I would put it that way. So what happened was, some of them started doing what is telemedicine. Even if it did not mean Zoom or a Teams call, they were doing it over phone. They were probably doing it over WhatsApp. Even they were afraid of meeting people because it was COVID. They said, okay, just share the, if you have a rash, share that, I will advise you, and all that. And they kept themselves very relevant. And what happened was those doctors today have gained so many patients. In the last 2 years, they have serviced them from remote, but then all of them are new patients for them. People who felt, I can go to this person even when there was a trouble, when we were in trouble during COVID, this is the doctor who helped me out. Whereas the other person waited for pandemic to go away and said, my clinic is closed, I may not be able to address it, and they did not know how to stay relevant in a remote fashion. Why I'm saying these two examples is, today I find that there are people who have succeeded a lot post whatever the real horrible phase of pandemic. The second phase was the most horrible. I have myself personally faced in the office and elsewhere so many things which were very difficult to handle. But when we have tried to stay relevant by using methods and tools which could help us out, I think we have been trusted by all stakeholders. Many times employees, customers, partners, suppliers, everybody start feeling that, okay, this person can be trusted because even during that phase, he stayed strong and tried to stay relevant. Because unless everybody stays relevant, it's very difficult for them to, what you call, inspire confidence in the ecosystem. So that is something which I felt is very, very important. And one more thing I used to feel, this was something to make it lighter. During my college days itself, I always used to feel that when I get into an exam, I was a decently good student, that's a different thing altogether. But at the same time, when you get into an exam hall, if the question paper is out of syllabus, which all of us have gone through at least a few times in our student days, I'll look around and I'll find that everybody is baffled. They don't know what to do. Actually, they lose confidence because they don't know what to answer because it's all out of syllabus. When I look around and find out, I'll gain a lot of confidence. Because I used to feel that now it's a level playing field. I didn't study well. The guy who studied well also does not know, which means I want a level playing field. So now it is like it's our innovation, if I can use that word. It is how we handle the situation. And invariably, when the question paper is out of syllabus, I used to be one of the toppers in that subject. Tamil solrana karpanai kuduraiye tatti vidu. You will think and write whatever the best you can for those answers, and invariably you would find that you have at least been relevant in that stage. Whereas people who get affected, it's like a pandemic, no? You entered that hall and for the next 2 hours it's pandemic. You are affected, you don't know what to do, and you give a blank paper and come back, and you don't have a chance. But the person who stayed relevant, when it's still out of syllabus, in fact we were facing a situation out of syllabus for the last 2 years. But people who handled that well, they have moved on. And in a forum like this, I feel many of the times, like-minded, well-meaning individuals, when you come across, you are able to support each other and make sure that each of you tell each other, yes, we can handle it, yes, we can handle it, yes, we can handle it. And that is when we are able to move forward with confidence, and we can pull people along with us to a next plane. Without losing confidence. And then when we are having our nose above water, breathing well, and when things settle down, then we are playing better. In cricket, as they say, we have to bite those first 7, 8, 9 overs when the new ball is there. Once you see that off, then you're going to be okay. But if you are foolish and play those balls badly, then I don't think it's going to help at all. So that is one of the things which I feel is extremely important, how to stay relevant. In fact, for that matter, I was talking about cricket. I don't know whether you've been following the recent few matches that we are playing against South Africa. This guy called Dinesh Karthik has suddenly become like, he's suddenly looking like Dhoni reborn. I'll tell you, he was actually hit by a pandemic called Dhoni around 15 years back. He was actually, DK was a fantastic player. He played very well. He scored centuries. He was extremely good. But then there was a pandemic called Dhoni which came. It was super good compared to him. A guy is good and somebody is superstar. He got completely out of picture. Then he stayed relevant right through in some way or other. And today, when the pandemic is almost out of the way, he's still staying relevant after how many years? Is that possible? After about 15, 16 years. And when the opportunity comes, because he didn't succumb to that pressure of a Dhoni, he could stay relevant all along. 90% of the people, why 90? Except for a person like this, very, very rarely people will wait for their opportunity for 15 years. In fact, today I saw something. He was part of the first ever T20 which we played. And he's the only player playing after so many years. And suddenly playing so well when people at his age, 37, would not be even thinking that they'll play for India. Today, from Sunil Gavaskar to everybody say, without him you can't go for the World Cup. I'll tell you, that is what is grit. That is what is staying relevant. That is what makes, when you're made of such stern stuff, you can never lose. And I'll tell you, it is very, I mean, these are the things which make an impact on me, because it gives me confidence that it is possible to do the impossible. And I'll tell you, all of you are great leaders who have gone through so many things and made yourself so successful. And I know I'm only playing, in this hall, I'm trying to just, do a loud thinking of sorts, where some of you will say, yes, this looks to be something which I can easily align with. The idea is that basically I'm just trying to do that because it's not a student hall where you can, advise. This is actually speaking, many of you would have probably gone through the, yes, I did this. I can understand how I did it last 2 years, how I made myself relevant and how I am successful. In fact, another thing is a pandemic or any huge challenge like the global markets going down badly, all these things, when it happens in a matter of a few months or something like that, it looks like it's new. But I will tell you, many times this has happened. Only thing is, it's happened a little more slowly, where, like in anything, when it is a little slow, we don't get badly affected. We get affected, but then after 4 years, we say this is a general cycle. Every 4 years, we'll have a 4-year bad period. But when it happens that 4 years becomes 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, then we get a shock. We see what the hell it is. How is it happening? How are we going to handle it? I'll tell you how many times things have probably changed and we had to face it. 50 years back, cycle rickshaws were abolished. It's easy for us to say, yeah, so what? We had probably hand rickshaws were abolished. It would just feel like, yeah, there were cycle rickshaws. But what happened to those people who are dependent on that job? If they did not know how to handle a cycle rickshaw, it was not just that they can switch over. Similarly, the yellow cabs were there, and suddenly the fast tracks and others came in. The yellow taxis, they were finding it as a difficult thing. But then that had to be faced by them. Then when the fast track settled, out of the blue, the Olas and Ubers came. Every time some industry or other had seen this type of a huge shift, which has affected the existing fabric. But then it has all been handled. Similarly in phones, I remember it used to be PP call. Somebody 3 houses away, 50 years back will come and say, Murali, call for your house, call your dad. And then you go there and you take the call, and to give a PP number was a proud factor. I have a phone 3 doors away. Used to be a proud factor. Leave alone you having a phone. I'm telling from that, having a landline, that too, if it's a OIT, you wait for however many years to get it after paying some 15,000 rupees. What, 30 years back paying 15,000 for a phone which you'll wait for some time. I mean, these are all things which we crossed. Then we had that luxury of PCOs here and there, everywhere. You don't have to depend on anything. You can call from anywhere. And when all that became a business proposition, then came the mobile. What happened to the PCOs? Every individual had a mobile. Now, when the mobiles came in, from keep telephone to smartphones, and there are times when even the biggest or the most admired entities, they lose themselves. We are not even talking about pandemic till now. There are people who have lost their way and vanished from the picture after being on top. I don't know whether you all have remember this company called Kodak. Kodak was a $50 billion company about probably 12, 13, 14, 15 years back. $50 billion and probably in the top 10 companies or something in the world. And then suddenly what happened? They got the digital camera technology. They had the digital camera technology, and they were wanting to, they were putting it to vote with the senior management to see whether they can use the digital, when they can launch the digital camera. There were a lot of people in the board who were not too very happy about it. Kodak's business model was $10 billion of cameras, $40 billion of film rolls. Who will want to lose that $40 billion business? And many people are running it within the company. And what happens to them? Everybody said, no way, if we do this, we'll kill our, $40 billion business, so we are not doing it. 3 years down the line, competitors launched it, and they killed the company itself. I'll tell you, many times we are short-sighted. When there are opportunities, in fact, they should have ideally been the people who launched digital camera, and they would have been the leaders automatically, because that brand was so big. Then closer to, much more recently, Nokia, they felt that smart telephone was a high-end, segment. Key telephone is what everybody will have, probably for 3,000-4,000. Smart telephone will be very expensive and nobody can afford it. So let's not look at it. Nokia is no more there. I'll tell you something, these are all pandemics of a different kind. They come, stand in front of you, tell you that I'm going to come, and you say, no, 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 I'll handle it, don't worry. And you just fall straight into that. Why I'm saying that is, there are many things like this. Everything that happens like this is something which we all get good hints, where we know that it has to be handled, but invariably we are slow to handle it. But in the last 2 years, what happened was, it didn't give too much time. And people who made an attempt to handle it without waiting for too long stayed relevant, and right now we see a positive room like this. And in fact, in my industry, IT industry, when we started, when we faced this issue, within few weeks, first the global clients, they were not too comfortable. Many of them were not comfortable when some of the offshore entities, people were working from home, because security issues are there. And people are working from home, we cannot do it. After about 6 weeks, March 23rd, it all started. April, mid, they were all saying, let's wait, let everybody come back to office. Then after a while, we realized nothing can happen. Then clients abroad said, no problem, work from home. Work had to be done. You cannot just stop work. And then lot of security aspects were brought into picture. Even while working from home, how do we securitize? So there was a lot of work which came in. And I'll tell you, for a period of time, while now work from home seems to be a good way of doing it, I still find that what will happen going forward is going to be a hybrid model. But interestingly, in fact, I was talking in one of the TV channels, I don't know, SCBN or something like that. When there was a conversation, the question was, how do you feel work from home will continue? I said, of course, hybrid, but I coined something called, it's going to be now on WOW, W-O-W. Because all of us have a lot of, what do you call, you may be doing something as a profession, but you may also know how to paint, or you may also know how to do something else. Now, WOW is going to be the new way, where it's going to be whatever, out of wherever. You'll sit anywhere, you can do anything, you can be in Kodaikanal, you can serve California, no doubt about it. But the problem is, over a period of time, we will settle down to a hybrid model where we will need collaboration, we will have to be together. For example, in manufacturing industry, it cannot be working from home. There has been things which are going to happen from factory, but there are certain things which you never thought you can do from remote. Those things can be happening from remote. Today, I'll tell you, we used to travel for even a 3-hour, 2-hour meeting to the US or anywhere. Even if it's 3-4 days, we will travel. There's a client meeting, we'll have to go. And in India, even government meetings, we just cannot do it from remote. We have to go for a meeting. But after a few months in the initial stages, government started accepting to meet over a remote fashion. So we got used to, what do you call, I normally say, in the industry we say that chief technology officer or a chief digital officer drives the new age technology in IT industry. But and we have chief product officer. So the CDO, CEO, CPO, all these people drive it. But now I said there is a CPO, but he is a different person who has driven digitalization over the last 2 years. He is the chief pandemic officer. He didn't allow us a chance. You either go digital or you cannot do anything. So why I'm saying that is, these are all things which have helped. And again, I'll tell you, it's always like when we face a challenge, we tend to look at the negative things. In fact, I always say, when I succeed, I'll say, fantastic, why? Yeah, succeed, Anna. My talent, my ability. Something fails. When we want to see, when we fail, we tend to find problems from outside. When we succeed, we feel it's all within us. Why I'm saying that is, it's like the half cup filled coffee or whatever it is. Invariably, if you want to, you can say, I see a cup which is half empty. It's a negative feeling. Or you can say, yes, I have half cup of coffee. Now let's see what best I can do. Why I'm saying that is, while all these things failed, I have seen hotels which had to go through difficulty, but there are hotels which have been launched and doing fantastically well today. I don't know how they stayed relevant. They have had some strategies. Local tourism picked up phenomenally during this phase because we didn't get visas anywhere else. So people went to Northeast, everywhere. I know so many people who have been traveling locally. So there are things which have been happening very well. The new thing, OTT. I'll tell you the amount of content which come, because we didn't have much of a choice over the last 2 years. We started watching things at home. In fact, initially they said all white goods are going to be a problem. But apparently what I understand now is, initially it was the 32-inch TV, then it became 40, then it became 50. Now a much higher, maybe 65 or 80-inch TV could become a standard format. Because people are watching movies at home. They want to watch it on bigger TV. The formats will become bigger and the cost will become lower, and I think we'll all be, see, I'll tell you, the opportunity are going to be, but somebody has to see that. If somebody is not seeing that and seeing that, okay, even now 32-inch will sell, it may not sell. It may be the large format. But I'm saying that these are all the things which I see, and overall I feel that every time I feel, in sports also people say, this person is not getting opportunity because of politics and things like that. But invariably, many times the guys like Dhoni who came from Jharkhand, or a Dinesh Karthik who waited for 16 years and still got the opportunity, prove that it's not politics. As long as you are good, as long as you are ready to be relevant. Because in 15, 16 years, the game has changed so much even in cricket. In fact, a guy like Tendulkar, if he played for probably 24 years, the first day he played cricket was very different from the last day he played. And apparently, I mean, in today's context, people look at every match, the way the guys play. In fact, even online teaching, education, I used to find that we cannot have a camera in front and the teacher or the lecturer. If let me say somebody is talking, if he's keeping on talking, it's not going to be interesting. Only when the content along with that, if it goes, it will be interesting. So online teaching is not about lecturing in front of a camera. Then I was talking somewhere and I was saying that how we had cricket 40 years back in Chennai. It will be the Pongal period where there will be a test match which comes once in about 2 years or whatever it is. We'll be waiting for that. Those 5 days are the ones when we can go to the ground and see the match and enjoy it with the 50,000 people. But over a period of time, when the first, things came, the TV telecast came, we enjoyed it. But still, no, we wanted to go to the ground because there was only the game and the scores. Beyond that, we could not. Then what happened was, to cut the story short, now, when you see a match, first you see the replays in all angles. You see the DRS, how it goes. Then if Ashwin's bowling in a fashion, he shows last match, same way he bowled, but the ball did not turn so much. This time it's turning more. I'm telling you, when I went to see a local match, when I saw something happening, my mind wanted replays, my mind wanted analysis, my mind wanted all those things. Because we now started enjoying not just the game, it is the associated content. Why I'm saying that is, if all these things don't happen, we cannot stay relevant. T20 is to be staying relevant. People didn't have the time to see for 5 days. Bring it like a movie. Why? At the end of it, I feel that it is extremely important that innovation is extremely important. Staying relevant is extremely important. Innovation, 40 years back, there was this, we used to have these porters in the railway station having suitcases. They will have 2-3 suitcases and go. And not that we did not know that there were wheels before that in the world. Not that we did not know there was the kuchi which can hold the suitcase. Suddenly I don't know who found it. We had trolleys in place, and today there are no porters. It is trolleys that all of us drag along. Innovations is nothing but being inquisitive and being observant and making that happen. And especially during these phases, leaders like you, who are probably amazingly successful in your enterprises, will find ways of doing it. But the ones who succeed much more than the others would be the people who are observant, make those minor changes, stay relevant, stay innovative, and become they actually are useful to the stakeholders. Like the doctor I said, during that phase, if you're useful to the stakeholders and make all of them grow along with you, that's when we succeed. And my best wishes to all of you. I'm extremely happy to have been here. Thanks, Captain, again for inviting me, and the entire Foundrymen. Fantastic to the new team. All the best, and my pleasure to have been here. Thank you. All the best. May God bless you.
Sir, requesting you to please join us on stage. We now request our past Chennai chapter chairman, Mr. K. Varadarajan, to please felicitate Mr. Mike. Thank you, sir.